up. They have their own Twitter handle because of their theatrical celebrations on the bench, lined up and geared and powered by Dan Pilari and Greg Nowak. We get things underway. Chris Brady wins the tip. Monmouth coming in 12-4 on the season, 4-1 in conference play, tied for second with St. Peter's. Iona all alone at 6-0, a traveling violation to start off the Hawks' first possession. The Gales, the preseason favorites coming in. They are the team to beat in the MAC.
Well, both of these teams are well coached, and both of these teams really like to get up and down the floor, so I expect for a very exciting game tonight.
Jordan Washington, the forward out of Jamaica, New York, second leading scorer for the Gales, puts up the first two of the game, and then an easy put back there, or rather 2 points for Deion Jones.
Great start by both teams so far by hitting their first baskets.
We'll see a lot of A.J. English, much to talk about with him as Washington off the mark there. Robinson, 5'8" guard out of Lake Katrine, New York. You see him in blue and number 12. Trying to be early and active is Deion Jones. Micah Seaborn with the steal. The redshirt freshman has been red hot the last two games. Had a career-high 20 points, and then eclipsed that a couple nights ago with 24. So a three ball is good, and Monmouth up early, 5-2 on the road.
Seaborn has really come on strong, as you mentioned, of late. Playing with extreme confidence right now. English,
the floater, it falls. A.J. English averaging better than 23 points a game. Coming off a 24-point performance. It was a perfect 10 for 10 against Marist.
A.J. does a great job of mixing it up. His point from the outside as well as getting the ball into the interior.
Deshaun Much bringing down that board. He's back after missing 3 games with a foot injury. He returned to action against Marist. But how about Micah Seaborn picking up where he left off?
Just a great job by Michael Seaborn.
Right now, you know, it's early still, so we'll be keeping a close eye on that Hawks bench and seeing just what they cook up for their celebrations. I love it. It's a lot of enthusiasm and excitement. Of course, everyone's there for the game of basketball. They add a little something to it as Much misses on the three.
Both teams want to make sure they're taking care of basketball tonight, limiting each other, one shot and done.
So a foul on the floor. Well, these two teams have a nice history with one another, especially last season. They split the regular season games as Monmouth felt like they really arrived after beating Iona back on December 7th of 2014. Just their 8th meeting between the two. But then it was a good wake-up call to see who exactly was the big brother in the MAC semifinal last year, with Iona trouncing the Hawks. The tip back in is good from Josh Jones, the junior.
Great Jones on Monmouth by crashing the boards, but on the other end, A.J. English to the rack with aggression.
All-Met Player of the Week already twice this season. He led the Gales to a 3-0 week as Chris Brady is rejected underneath by Taylor Bessick. Bessick, a James Madison transfer. Much hesitated, thought about it, took the three. It's long.
As expected, both teams want to try to get out in transition and score some easy baskets. And it's going to be key for both teams to get back in transition defense. A lot of transition defense starts with the shot.
One thing that Monmouth is great at doing is getting out in transition. They like to shoot the three ball, as Ibn Muhammad is called for the personal foul. Justin Robinson has not gotten going just yet. I don't think he's even attempted a shot, maybe one already tonight, but he's the team's leading scorer. As a good look there at Tim Cluse. But Robinson, he can heat up at any time. Great matchup to watch Muhammad on Robinson.
Well, you better believe before the night is over, Robinson will definitely have placed his stamp on this ball game.
And off the backboard as Seaborn now with 5 points, already dropped a 3 earlier in this game.
Great job by Monmouth. You want multiple players contributing.
Iona 7-0 at home this season. Carom there by Seaborn.
Well, you don't want to give A.J. English too many open looks.
And traveling violation called on Deion Jones. So we'll step aside. Monmouth on the road, and they're up by 3 early against Iona. 15 last year, and he sees now a better little history between the two. Him and Tim Cluse, 6th season, trying to work his way up to the status of Iona. Knows that this is a big game for them, not only within the conference, but of course when we're talking tournament down the road in a couple of months.
Both coaches are well respected here in their conference, and they've been doing a great job for their programs the past few years.
And the history between them, especially in that semifinal game last year, they didn't make much about it. Certainly they shared some words back and forth as Iona kept its starters in for a little bit longer. And the circus shot falls, but it will not count as the foul was on the floor. Isaiah Williams, the team's leading rebounder, brings a lot of energy, but nice to see it fall. Of course, doesn't count.
That's just a great job by Isaiah, just getting his hands out in the defensive lane, deflecting the basketball, and then driving, attacking the ball basket aggressively.
Colin Stewart, who started last game, taking it hard to the hoop, but called for the charge. Stewart out of Glenville, New York, but I don't know, Gerard, do you see it as a charge?
Well, great job by Stewart, just driving to the basket strong, but a little bit out of control. And yes, I believe Iona player did get his feet set right outside the restricted area, so it looked like a charge to me.
Monmouth now with 5 turnovers. Aaron Roundtree handling the basketball, number 25 in white.
And in talking to King Rice, it was one of the points of emphasis that he made. He wanted to make sure that his team took control of the basketball, took very good control of the basketball, and tried to limit Iona to 1 shot at the basket, knowing that Iona loves to get out in transition.
Picking up on the success that he's had already this season. Big wins against Power 5 teams in the non-conference. Took down UCLA in the season opener in overtime. Also notched wins against Notre Dame, USC, Georgetown, and Rutgers. So
great ball movement by Monmouth. Just a nice pass from Stewart into the interior, and great heads-up play.
So Jalon Hornbeek at the line to try to finish off the 3-point play. Oklahoma transfer, sat out last year due to Division I transfer rules.
And both of these teams will go to their bench to try to create different matchup problems, to try to spark some energy.
And when you're talking about going to the bench, when you look at this Iona team, you know, they lose Cedric Cashmere. He's out for the season. Had hip surgery back on January 4th. And the offense looks a little bit different. Tim Cluse told us this week that he's had to modify a few things, of course, without the reigning MAC player of the year. Isaiah Williams with the bucket to cut the lead to 4.
Great individual effort by Isaiah. He's one of those players that's a gym rat. He stays in the gym working on his game day in and day out.
You mentioned you used to coach Isaiah Washington, right?
I did. I had the young man when he was in the JUCO at the State College of Florida. He did a great job for us. He was relentless in his efforts, and he was a great leader for the team.
Well, Jordan Washington was relentless on the boards. Couldn't get the putback, but you mentioned Isaiah Williams out of Newark, New Jersey. Watch him work.
Well, this young man can run the floor like a gazelle, and once he's out in the open court, look out.
Nice 6'7" stature. And he's all alone in the corner. The three is good.
Well, he's showing us a little bit of everything. He understands how to get the ball to the basket, and he definitely knows how to shoot it from the perimeter.
Iona knocking down their first three of the ball game. And back the other way is Zach Tillman.
Great job by Zach, just getting nice deep positioning and then turning over his right shoulder with a little soft hook.
And Robinson. So what happens when the other team scores? Take a look at Monmouth. Yeah, nothing doing. Just kind of blah right there. No need to celebrate, of course. But,
no need to celebrate, no need to say anything. They understand that the defensive assignment was missed because of lack of communication. And listen, this Iona team have at least 4 to 5 guys that's scoring in double figures, so you have to close out on the shooters.
And one of them right here, A.J. English. He's fouled on the way to the bucket. As Hornbeak picks up the personal. For Iona, coming off the win against Mares, they shot 50% from the field, and draining the second three for the Gales is A.J. English.
If there's one player you definitely do not want to heat up, and that's A.J. English.
He leads all scorers with 7 points.
Monmouth has to know their personnel, player personnel, understanding that you have a shooter, close out under control, and then box out.
Answering on the other end, 16-14. The Hawks still on top, but nice attack there. The putback from Roundtree to tie it and even at 16.
Boy, these Gales can really get up and down the court really quick. Both teams are averaging almost 80 points a game this season.
A.J. English, he's a baller. You better watch out for him, account for him, because number 5 in white words. But King Rice told us earlier this week, he says, you know what, we have gotten a lot of attention from different college teams as well as pro teams. The Carolina Panthers tweeted out the Monmouth bench dabbing on them on the last game, so they're getting the love. Mixed feelings, though, in Iona.
Exactly. It sounds like Coach Cruz doesn't really care much for it.
Hornbeak on the miss. Iona, very good perimeter shooting team, shooting 45% clip. Great rims around.
Great patience shown by Iona. Not forcing anything, allowing the offense to come to them, working the ball around, getting things in the flow.
Jahad Proctor checked in. He missed on that one. Had a breakout effort against Fairfield back on December 31st. Also Taylor Bessick in for Tim Cruz. Hornbeak loses this one now. The 8th turnover for Monmouth. They average 12 a game. The elbow jumper for English makes them pay, and Iona takes the lead.
Way too easy. Everyone knows AJ can really shoot the basketball, and like I mentioned before, you must know where this young man is at all times. If not, he'll make you pay.
And he has half of the Gales' points tonight with 9.
Well, it doesn't take him long to get heated up. I mean, early in the season, as I mentioned in the opening, he scored 46 points, which ties the most points for this year in college basketball, along with Buddy Hill out of Oklahoma.
Yeah, English can just absolutely go off, and Hornbeak draws the contact Justin Robinson on the bench right now for Monmouth, scoreless in the game, so they've taken him out. Meanwhile, A.J. English continuing to heat up.
Well, this is the big game. It's a big game for both teams. Both teams want to make sure they try to get a victory tonight so they can kind of get a little bit of edge on the other team.
Well, big conference clashes continue Saturday at noon Eastern when Anthony Barber and the Wolfpack take on the Red Hot Tar Heels, winners of their last 8. Then at 2, Perry Ellis leads Kansas against TCU at Allen Fieldhouse in a bounce-back game for the Jayhawks. Both games streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. So how about West Virginia taking down Kansas, and they have the opportunity to knock off Oklahoma in the same week?
They sure do. It's going to be a tall task for them, and we'll see if Oklahoma can actually get it bounced back from that loss against Kansas versus West Virginia. They did a great job the other night, but let's see if they can keep it going.
Roundtree turns it over, so low in the shot clock, not able to get a good shot, and another turnover for Monmouth. Tied at 18 apiece with 9:37 to go.
Well, you hear coaches talking about an awful lot. Understanding your personnel. Roundtree is not comfortable, nor is he used to taking the ball from the perimeter and dribbling to the basket. Pass the ball around, get in the post, do the things that you do well.
So King Rice having to respect, of course, Iona, one of the best programs, saying, you know, basically we have to find a way to slow down A.J. English if at all possible.
Although this is a tie game, Iona is not shooting well from the field right now. Only shooting 38% from the field.
Kind of a slow start for both teams, as Jordan Washington was the last to touch that one. Mentioned he was the second leading scorer, 13 straight in double figures. Tonight he has just 2. The long 3 from Seaborn.
Boy, I like this young man's confidence. I mean, here's a freshman that had the presence of mind to slow things down, ask for a screen, and drive off the screen hard and aggressively. Just came up a little bit short in the shot, but I love his confidence.
Justin Robinson back in, named to the midseason watch list for the Lou Henson Award. It's Robinson second in the MAC in scoring. You know, slasher, very flashy kind of player.
You know, Tiffany, sometimes you come out extremely excited, the drilling is flowing, and you can't quite get yourself going. So I believe Coach King saw that in Justin and decided to take him out a little bit to calm him down.
The and one for Jordan Washington, going to the charity stripe to try to finish off the three-point play, averaging 15.5 a game.
Well, this is exactly what you want to do if you're Iona. You want to drive the ball, hold, and attack the basket strong.
He was just like, yeah, all that was missing in his celebration, you know, was the kiss the bicep. A little different gun show. You got to switch it up. You know, you got varying degrees of gun shows, you know?
Iona applying a little bit of token press defense.
Robinson all alone for 3. Got it! So the first points of the game for Justin Robinson, as the Hawks now 2 of 6 from long range. Continuing to call the number of number 23 in white, Jordan Washington.
Washington is doing a phenomenal job of just getting deep position in the post, and everything else from there becomes easy.
And then he gets called for the blocking foul on the other end. That's his second personal.
Well, I can't fault him for his hustle. On the offensive end, like as I mentioned, he's doing a little bit of everything, and on the defensive end, he's trying to step up and be extremely aggressive.
Deion Jones, who played a season at Townsend before transferring over, playing that stretch four, even though he's a guard standing at 6'6", kind of plays the stretch four position, although he's undersized, but has been effective this season. Had his best game against USC, dropping 20 points.
Another one of those Monmouth players who potentially can score double figures on any given night. He's been battling with a little bit of inconsistency, and that comes from just being confident. I mean, stepping on the basketball floor, believing in yourself, and going out and just play the game of basketball.
Well, launching it as much as he's back into the ball game. And Seaborn weaving his way through the lane and creating opportunities on the perimeter. Robinson with his second three.
Just as I mentioned, Coach King Rice saw that his young player was a little bit too amped up for this game, decided to give him a little rest so he can get himself together, and boy, oh boy, has he come out and knocked down two big baskets.
Trying to answer on the other end is Ibn Muhammad, no good. So Robinson putting Monmouth up by 3. He says, you know what, if you give me a little separation, and English the second, the elder of the two, played with the Washington Bullets after being a Division II Player of the Year in Girard. You're very familiar with him, having played with them with the Richmond Rhythm.
Great young man. It was really a pleasure just to be on the team, and great score as well. So like father, like son.
That's right. English the second averaged almost 10 points a game in the NBA, and his son is getting into a groove here tonight as he has 9 points.
Great transition defense by Iona.
Off the mark, English pulling down the board. Between English and Washington, they're really fueling the Gales' offense. Nice transition bucket, the finish by Josh James.
Well, as I mentioned, both of these teams love to get out in transition and allow their athletes to create. They have a lot of athletic players on both teams, and they do a great job in the open court of scoring the basketball.
7-0 run now for Monmouth. Can the Gales answer? And again, can someone else do some of the scoring, as Washington and English have 16 points. The rest of the team has just 7.
While Iona just appear to be a little out of sync offensively, they have not been able to get things going consecutively.
Taylor Bessick called for the personal. Ryan Hines checking in for the first time for the Hawks. All alone, left for 3, and James can't connect. This is a very important game for both teams, but especially Monmouth. Monmouth trying to continue to build, you know,
off their
non-conference, but also within the MAC, as Seaborn eyes that one down.
Well, I guarantee you, Monmouth does not like to be considered the little brother. So they're out with something to prove tonight, and they're off to a great start. They're shooting about 50% from the field. Here you see great penetration by
ranked Duke in the ACC. Then at 9, we head to the Big 12, and Buddy Hield and the second-ranked Oklahoma Sooners in Ames to take on the 17th-ranked Iowa State. Looking for a little Hilton magic. Both games streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. Rebound there by Proctor. Well, the last 7 possessions have not been so good for the Gales. 0 for 3, make it 0 for 4 from the field to go along with 4 turnovers.
Well, that last shot by Justin Robertson I did not particularly like, because he never really got anything going. The ball was kind of stagnant. It was a much different shot than the 2 previous shots, where he was moving without the ball and getting himself open in that fashion.
Tim Clues shaking his head. What do his Gales need to do defensively to maybe slow down Micah Seaborn, who's been hot?
Well, they're just a little out of rhythm on the offensive end and on the defensive end. I believe more communication and everyone playing their guy a little bit more honest instead of looking for the help defense would help him out.
Monmouth trotting down the floor with a 10-0 run in their bag, make it 12-0. Seaborn now in double figures with 10.
Well, the confidence from Monmouth has grown and is continuing to grow with every possession.
The area where Iona has been able to make some headway as Muhammad drains the three is in the paint. You know, he knocks down that perimeter shot, but the Gales have had success in the paint, outscoring the Hawks.
Well, they sure have. Right now they have 14 points in the paint, and they've been doing a great job, but they've kind of gone away from that a little bit. They've shot some ill-advised shots, and they need to get back to basics. You want to always play from the inside and then out.
Gales have a small height advantage over the Hawks. Good look there at Justin Robinson, who, when talking to King Rice this week, said, you know what he did over the summer is he put on about 10 pounds of muscle. So we know that he likes to penetrate, take you off the bounce, but he actually got a little bit stronger, able to absorb some more of those bumps as he drives to the lane.
And that's huge for this young man, a guy who dominates the ball 95% of the time, and so when he's driving to the lane and he's taking those bumps, he wants to be able to bounce off and still be able to make a play for himself or a teammate.
Gales, the preseason #1 as Muhammad trying to knock down a three. He was wide open, missed that one. The putback says, all right, Jordan Washington, I know he's got my back.
I'll tell you what, Jordan Washington has been a force on the interior so far. Whether it's getting deep position or just being in the right place at the right time, great job by Jordan.
.55% free throw shooter. A technical foul called on the floor. Some jawing going on back and forth. So, again, this rivalry between Iona and Monmouth continuing to heat up.
Well, it's to be expected that both teams are going to come out and play extremely hard. Both teams wants to, like you mentioned before, they wanted to take the advantage, get a little bit of edge on the other team. It's been way too long for Monmouth, been considered the little brother, and they want to turn the time on that.
Gales own the series 6-1. Muhammad called for the personal foul along with King Rice. They've had some choice words for one another. Our officiating crew doing a terrific job. Rob Riley, Ed Corbett, and Brandon Cruz.
Great job of the officials. They just want to make sure they stay on top of things early and not let things get out of hand.
King Rice is trying to laugh it off, continuing the history. A lot of respect for these two teams, but also maybe some bad blood potentially brewing between the two. So Ibn Muhammad, after that three-point attempt, let's watch what he does as he's near the Monmouth bench. Knocks down the shot. Looks back. Yells a little something, but I think maybe some jawing and some words were exchanged between he and the Hawks bench before then.
Well, I think so as well. I mean, you know all the antics that go on the bench with the bench mob, so you have to be careful. Just play the game of basketball, stay focused, and forget about all the other things that's going on.
And Tim Clue's team down by 7 with just more than 4 to go here in the first half. Camilla Ford for Muhammad, who's starting to come on and maybe get that hot hand.
Well, I tell you what, Monmouth has gotten off to a great start. As difficult as it is to win on the road, they are doing a phenomenal job of controlling this basketball game right now.
And the Gales are trying to protect home court. 26-game home win streak on the line. That's 6th best in the nation for the current streak. Williams left all alone, and defensively, the Hawks are not getting to the corners. Justin Robinson, a beautiful reverse layup.
Well, as I mentioned, both of these teams love to get up and down and try to score the basketball, and they put up a lot of shots. So you have to make sure that you're boxing people out at all times and then getting back in transition defense.
I think A.J. English just knocked that one down from, like, New York City.
That young man can really shoot the basketball. He can get going quick, fast, in a hurry.
12 points for the senior English. Well, you were forewarned in the open about the Monmouth bench mob.
Well, he's led him in scoring, but he's also climbing up the charts in the scoring ladder. He's currently now 12th on the all-time scoring list.
Just about 3 minutes to go in this first half. A foul on the floor. For the Gales, they've won their last 5 games. And they're a perfect 6-0 in league play for just the second time in school history.
Great job by Iona coming out of the timeout, understanding that Williams has had some success on the interior and they wanted to go back to him.
Alongside Gerard Ward on Tiffany Green, and so we're seeing 2 MAC opponents, highly anticipated matchup between the two. Last year they split the regular season, then Iona went on to beat them in the semifinals of the MAC tournament a year ago. But what you're seeing out of these two teams, how would you assess the way Monmouth has been able to come out and really lead for most of the way?
Well, Monmouth has come out and played extremely aggressive on the defensive end, but also on the offensive end, they're taking care of the basketball as far as not being in a hurry for the most part. They had some early, quick turnovers, and then they settled down and been playing extremely well ever since.
Strong move and take underneath the basket for Deion Jones. And he'll try to collect 3 points as he'll go to the line for 1.
Great shot fake by Tilden and finding an open Jones streaking there on the baseline.
Just showing the strength. He just deboed him down low, that's all.
Well, I tell you what, the bench loves everything that Monmouth does. And they should.
That gives the Hawks a 6-point lead on the road. Washington, who's been active tonight, continues. The spin hook, it's good.
Well, when you got it going, you got it going. And great job by Iona now understanding that they're having some success with Washington underneath the basket.
Jones, in his last 7 games, averaging nearly a double-double. He's got 8 tonight with that bucket.
Both teams have seemed to settle down a little bit more, and they're playing more their style of basketball.
And the turnover, Justin Robinson pushing the issue up ahead to Jones.
Great pass by Robinson, just threading the needle to Jones for an easy 2.
And so far in this first half, much of the Gales' offense has come from that gentleman right there, Jordan Washington and A.J. English.
Well, when you have a guy that's as hot as he is, you must feed him as much as possible because he has it going right now.
Out on the break, and they foul English as the Gales looking to cut this lead to 4 or potentially 3.
Where here you see Justin Robinson doing what he does best, assisting one of his teammates, and Jones, and great finish by Jones.
English misses the first of 2. And for A.J. English, he and Jordan Washington have been terrific here in this first half. Washington with 16, English has 13. Just to think, English missed 5 games with a hand injury, dislocated his finger on his non-shooting hand.
Well, this Iona team has struggled with injuries early during the season, and so they've had to kind of pick up on the fly, and a lot of guys have stepped up and played some very, very good basketball.
A lot of contact underneath the basket. AJ English appears to be a little slow to move, but is all right. But that's what Tim Clues told us when talking to him this week as we take another look at it. Robinson working on McGill. And as Jones came in, it appeared maybe that he landed maybe his forearm on the face of English.
Well, from the angle probably that the official had, he probably saw that Jones came in. He was a little bit over the back, so it was an easy call.
So when Kashmir goes down, AJ English continues to advance his game along with Deshaun Much, who has been a big part, although he's been silent tonight. And Tim Clues told us, our group has just really been resilient, and what I've appreciated most about our unit is the fact they have been so tough.
Exactly. As I was just mentioning, different players have stepped up at different times and contributed big for this Iona team, and their record may not show it overall, but they've been showing it here in conference play.
The keyhole jumper for English is good. 3-on-2. They hand the rock right back over to number 5 and White, and beautiful move. Well, Iona now takes the lead.
They handed the rock back to their superstar, and he definitely knows what to do with the basketball.
And this crowd is loving it inside the Heinz Center. Final seconds of this first half.
Well, AJ went on his small run himself for this team to get him back in the ball game.
And time has expired on the clock. And what an effort from who had a lot of chatter on Twitter talking about he was the best point guard in the country. Well, he's got 10 points tonight, and he's 2 of 3 from three-point range. They'll need more from him in the final 20 minutes.
Well, after the opening segment and Justin was taking out the game, he was able to come back to the game, and he's been on a tear ever since. Great job by Washington, just being in the right place at the right time. This young man has already gotten his season high. Actually, more than his season high,
It's Chris Brady answering on the other side. He solidified himself at the 5 spot. He's been off to a great start this season, averaging 7.5 a game alongside Gerard Ward. I'm Tiffany Green, and you're a former Michigan Wolverine. You've been pitted in several games in the conference. Woo! Talk about hot. Deshaun Much starting off strong, but when you think about a rival that you played against in a game so important as the elbow jumper is good from Jones, thinking about the intensity, the emotion that goes into a game like this. I mean, think back to one of those times.
Well, there's a lot of intensity and a lot of emotions when you're playing against a rival team, but both of these teams come out in the second half extremely hot. I mean, there's been 4 possessions, and both teams have been able to connect on each and every one of those possessions. Make it 5.
AJ English. The dude is just bad.
I tell you what, he's on a tear tonight, and he's on one of those, he's having a special night once again. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, he scored 46 points, and who knows if he may get close to that tonight.
46 points coming against Fairfield back on December 7th, and you mentioned AJ English. Watch him work.
Just coming off a little down screen, was able to get his feet set and knock down what would be an easy routine 3 for AJ.
So we're at 6 of 6 now. Both teams knocking down buckets. 5 of 6. How about Now 6 of 7.
6 for 7. Both teams have come out red hot in the second half.
7 for 7 as Josh James connects there. And then there's the first miss here of the second half. Almost doing too much. Confusing myself. It's 53 all Monmouth Iona. Deshaun Much called for his first personal. But it appears King Rice had a lot to say to his Hawks along with Tim Cruz, and these two teams are coming out strong here in the opening minutes of the second half.
Well, something that I talked about often with players as a coach, keep it simple. I mean, know your personnel. Do what you do best. You know, those last two possessions, both on Iona's side and now on Monmouth's side, guys got a little bit out of character. But great drive by the young Seaborn. He's still off to a great start. Great-looking young freshman.
Three-star recruit coming out of Prime Prep Academy. Justin Robinson all alone in the corner. Can't knock down the three. But how about Josh James making it happen? And coming in is Robinson. Jones finishes it off.
Every bit of 5'7", was able to crash the board from the weak side and keep the ball alive for his team. Easy basket. Now Monmouth on a 9-0 run.
And they are a hot spin move, and the right-footed Washington, count it.
Washington is on a tear tonight. Look at the effort by the big man. Here you see Justin just coming in, all 5'7", able to get the ball, not coming to the ground and giving a great pass to his teammate, and then Washington back down on the other end, just staying active and being aggressive on the offensive end. Great job by Washington.
Acrobatic move for Jordan Washington. 6'8". Get this. 255-pound junior.
We have ourselves a great ball game tonight. Back and forth. Both teams go.
Launching it. Got it. Josh James, who started the last 3 games back from a season-ending injury and foot surgery to knock him out after 13 games last season. And when we talked with Coach, he says he's the backbone of our team.
He sure is, but here you see him on the other end just stepping up, knocking down a shot. He's not really known for his three-point shooting, but he was able to get his feet set and knock down that one. Made it look easy.
Four-point lead for Monmouth. On the road, A.J. English lets it fly.
Boy, oh boy, is he having himself a ball game tonight.
Another 3, 25 points now for English.
If I'm Monmouth, I want to make sure that I know where A.J. is at all time, and then I want to try to get the ball out of his hand as quick as possible.
Tillman going to the hole, or rather the bucket. English again, just short, hits front iron. James, yes.
Nice drive by James and finish.
So whatever lull we saw there in the first half in terms of scoring certainly picked up the tempo and pace of this game. With over 4.5 down in this second half, A.J. English. You know what? I think he should just blow off his fingertips.
Because he's extremely hot. But both teams, listen, both teams are playing much better basketball. After the initial opening, both teams have settled down a little bit and playing more their style of basketball, and that's getting out in the open court and scoring baskets.
Well, A.J. English points combined in just under 5 minutes here in the second half, Gerard.
Well, those are great stats, but where's the defense? No one is playing defense. Both teams are shooting the ball extremely well. And there has to be more defenses applied if they want to come out with a victory tonight.
Both teams coming in, averaging nearly 80 points a game. Monmouth best in the conference in field goal defense, holding teams to just 39%. Iona had a slow first half, now 32% on the game as Jalon Hornbeek picks up his third personal. And a turnover there, too many steps from Williams. Well, this is going back and forth, Gerard, just as we expected. What's it like to play in a game like this?
It's very exciting. I mean, the crowd is into it. It just helps bring more energy as a player. And you just feed off that energy. And sometimes the opposing team feeds off the home team's crowd energy as well.
Colin Stewart hit that one for 3, averaging 10 points in the last 5 games. He's one of those players where King Rice talked about, you know, he could be a starter if he wanted to, but instead he said, you want to start or do you want to come off the bench? Energy, instant offense off the bench.
Knowing and understanding what it takes for a team to be successful. He said, listen, coach, anything you want me to do, I will do it. And he's doing a great job of just coming off the bench now and contributing.
Junior guard out of Glenville, New York, and a couple of bodies hit the deck. A lot of pressure being applied. Stewart goes down.
Well, I like the defensive effort now by Monmouth. I mean, much better job of just being active.
Bessick draws the foul on the way up. The James Madison transfer will go to the line for 2. So, Colin Stewart feeling it.
Feeling good, shooting with confidence.
A little old school action, a little kid and play.
The bench loves it.
I don't know if that was kid play. You know, you got to do the kind of like the running man. It's the
pull your leg up a little bit. I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
But it was close.
Bessick coming off a season best 11 points rebound game against Marist. The Gales shot 50% from the field and dropped 59 points in the second half as a rare breather for A.J. English.
A rare but probably well-needed breather for English. English has been doing everything for this team tonight, but on cue again.
Colin Stewart said, you see the number on my back, 3-0?
He's on fire right now off the bench. Great job by Stewart.
And so Monmouth looking strong here as they are trying to notch a win against Iona.
Well, just a little jab step and then a second jab. And he saw the hand down, man down, and just rose up and shot a great shot.
Stewart coming in, averaging 9 a game. He's got that many tonight, and someone's got to get a hand in his face. He's like, let me step back one more time. Top of the 3, top of the key 3.
Colin Stewart. Colin Stewart is on fire. 4 for 5 from long, actually putting the ball on the floor and then stepping back for another 3. This young man is feeling good and shooting the ball extremely well.
A 38% free throw, or rather 3-point shooter, as the Hawks are on a 12-1 run. They have just been lighting it up from all over the court. 6 of 7 from 3. Seaborn now 7 of 8. I think it's all rubbing off. Everybody getting into the action.
And the hot streak continues. I mean, they're doing a great job on the defensive end of being aggressive, moving their feet, switching. On the defensive end, communicating. And then on the offensive end, they're knocking down shots.
53 combined points in just over 7 minutes here. Uh-oh, searching for the contacts. You know what? Dan Polari says, I got the solution.
Well, I'll tell you what, when you know you got a bunch of shooters on the court, you must get back in transition defense and close out.
Save there from Seaborn. Clear eyes. It looks like from the Hawks. They just see a big old hole in front of them.
Well, Monmouth has been on a tear this entire game. They're shooting 61%. And get this, 23 points from the bench. And half of that is coming from Stewart almost, with 12 points.
Stewart electrifying here in this second. 63 Monmouth over Iona. Justin Robinson and A.J. English involved in that last collision that sends Robinson to the line. Remember now, the Gales have a 26-game home win streak on the line. That is in jeopardy tonight as the Hawks now move out to a 17-point lead. That's the 6th longest streak in Division I basketball.
Well, the Hawks is on a 10-0 run in the past minute and 45. And while on the other end, Iona has missed. They've only gone 1 out of 5 and have 4 turnovers. So they got to do a better job taking care of the basketball and manufacturing points.
The Gales, who shoot 45% from the field, that's what they shot in the first half, but a poor performance so far, almost halfway through the final 20 minutes. 6 of 13, Isaiah Williams trying to make good and does.
Much better possession there for Iona. A lot more ball moving, a lot more bodies moving. Great job. You know, Tiffany, I think for a while, Iona got a little complacent. They started to rely a little bit too much on their superstar. Although he's a great talent, but they have to maintain a little bit of balance between for all players to touch the ball and get involved in this game.
Yeah, in that first half, we saw, you know, A.J. English and Jordan Washington doing a bulk of the scoring. They scored 35 of their 45 first half points as Williams can't get that three to go. Offensive rebound by Ibn Muhammad, who picked up a technical foul in the first half.
Great job by Williams crashing the board and just was unable to get it to go. But that's what Iona needs, and they need more of it.
Monmouth led by 2, 64-62 at the 5:15 mark, and since then they've gone on a 19-3 run. English down with the rebound is Hornbeek. Remember, we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, according to our ESPN bracketologist Joe Lenardi, if the NCAA tournament was here, these two teams would be in.
Well, I'll tell you what, Iona has gone 2 out of 11. And that's just not going to get it done. I mean, if you're Iona, you want to try to get things going to the basket. I mean, they had some success early on in shooting the ball from long range, but now that the shot is not falling, you want to try to go back to base and get the ball in the interior, whether it's driving, dribble penetration, or getting the ball down to your big man who's playing extremely well tonight in Washington.
Jerron Hornbeek checks out. He has 4 personal fouls, and so much talk about Monmouth attention-grabbing non-conference schedule, as that one was called on English. He picks up his first personal. But the Hawks get big wins in the non-conference, go down to Orlando, the Wide World of Sports, and beat Notre Dame by 2 in the Avocare Invitational. Knock off UCLA after coming back from a 13-point deficit.
Well, the Hawks again contribution from everyone on the team. I mean, the bench have come on strong. They've scored 25 big buckets tonight versus Iona's 3. I mean, Iona's got to do a better job of manufacturing points, and they got to do it in a variety of ways. They just cannot rely on A.J. English doing all the bulk of the work, all the scoring for them.
More balanced attack, as you mentioned, Gerard, on the side of the Hawks. Colin Stewart came off the bench. Gave this Monmouth offense a lift. Micah Seaborn, Deion Jones for three. I mean, everyone is just getting touches, and they're having great success. Now up by 20.
Well, sharing is caring, and they have been doing a great job of sharing the basketball tonight. They have 5 players in double digits.
Aaron Roundtree, graduate student out of Wilson, North Carolina. With 2 and fouled on the way up. We're doing this 5-game win streak for the Gales. Roundtree has averaged better than 7 points and 5 boards, but more impressively shot 65% during that stretch.
Well, you definitely can tell which team tonight is playing like they do not want to be considered the little brother anymore.
Well, this is the MAC, has long been the domain of the Iona Gales, as they have won back-to-back regular season championships. And Isaiah Williams, they'll need more of that from him.
Big basket by Isaiah Williams, and yes, you're exactly right, Timmy. They're going to need someone else to step up and score points other than Washington and English.
Finishing it off is Chris Brady.
Back and forth they go, and we knew from the start this was going to be a track meet, and it was going to come down to the team that got back and played great transition defense and also boxed out and rebound.
I mean, just unconscious. Every Hawks player is just letting it go and knows good things will happen, and if they don't hit it, we saw Chris Brady finishing things off on the dunk putback. So they're feeling very confident right now, much like they did when they beat the Gales last season in their first meeting. Now, this could be the first of 3 meetings between the two. So we'll step aside just for a little Hilton Magic. Both games are streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. 7:59 to go here in New Rochelle alongside Gerard Ward. I'm Tiffany Green, and Monmouth has had their way in this second half. Only 1 point separated them after the first 20 minutes, and then both teams just decided to open up the floodgates in terms of scoring, but Monmouth has led the way, 47-27 here in the second half.
Well, I'll tell you what, they have absolutely come out of the break on fire. They're doing everything well. I mean, they're scoring from the interior. They're scoring off of second chance points. They're leading in rebounds. So they're doing a lot of things well, and that's the reason why you see them 92-72.
Unbelievable, 61% from the floor in this second half for Monmouth. And good thinking inside is Isaiah Williams trying to attack the bucket.
Well, I'll tell you what, Iona just have seemed a little bit out of sync ever since they got off to a great start in the second half, but then they started missing shots, and they have not found their way back into that groove that they started the second half with.
And remember, A.J. English has taken a couple of shots. He's been a little banged up. He had a collision in the first half. And then again,
well, as great as AJ has played tonight, I personally think, you know, Iona just started to rely a little bit too much on their superstar, and it has hurt them.
Grady back to the basket, working on Washington at short.
Great defense by Washington. Understand that Grady likes to go over his left shoulder and forcing him to turn over his right shoulder.
Now, that's not the shot you necessarily want if you're Tim Clues, but luckily Jihad Proctor there on the offensive board and got 2.
Iona decided to turn the pressure up a little bit by applying some full court pressure defense here, trying to force Monmouth into doing things that they don't want to do.
This is a Iona team who hasn't lost at home in nearly 2 years.
Well, I'll tell you what, to start the game, Iona forced Monmouth into a lot of turnovers, but ever since then, they've played extremely well. They've taken good care of the basketball and gotten the shots that they wanted to get.
English with the left-hand finish.
Great heads-up play by English. Just a nice dribble penetration to the basket. And
English with a 30-point game tonight.
Things are slowing down a little bit because both teams want to make sure that they start getting better possession. You're almost at that 5-minute mark, and you understand the importance of valuing the basketball, taking care of the basketball, especially if you're Monmouth. You want to close this game out.
Iona not going away, and second chance opportunities as Grady comes down hard on Washington. A flagrant foul. On Chris Brady. So we'll remind our viewers after that free throw shot as to what flagrant one is compared to two, excessive or unnecessary, and we saw that as Brady came down really hard. Not a legitimate play on the ball, or hold or push from behind. Do you agree with the call?
I do. I think he was just a little bit over-aggressive, and he was trying to prevent a layup at the same time. Like I said, you want to do it the right way.
So 2 for the flagrant foul, and then 2 more free throws on the way because of the personal foul. And with that, you blink your eyes, Iona only down by 10 with 5:41 remaining.
Well, I think they called a flagrant foul, and also I think they called a technical foul on him as well.
So now a 10-0 run for the Gales. Don't count out the
home team just yet.
Home team, preseason favorites, and the #1 team in the MAC.
Well, what the Gales have done is pick up the intensity on the defensive end, and has led to some easy buckets on the offensive end.
Proctor steps back for three, hand in his face, and it's short.
Not the shot that you want if you're Iona. I mean, just had a little bit of momentum swing, and you want to make sure you're doing something by taking the ball to the basket. You don't want to settle for an outside shot at that moment. You want to make sure you're getting something going to the basket.
Foul away from the basket. Underneath was Washington, and he has now 4 personal fouls. So a great night for him, 21 points, but he's also got 4 fouls.
Exactly. If you're watching, you have to be careful. You want to stay aggressive, but you have to understand you have 4 fouls, and the next foul, you're eliminated. And he's an important piece if Iona wants to come out with this victory. So he's going to have to be mindful of moving his feet and defending without fouling here in this last 5.5 minutes.
If this game were to be won at the free throw line, Monmouth, a 77% free throw shooting team, best in the MAC this season. And A.J. English. Notice we haven't called his name as much. They've been able to kind of slow him down. How have you seen the Hawks be able to do that?
Well, I'll tell you what, English was off to a great start, but then here you see English get stripped and just trying to get the ball back. In the midst of trying to get it back, is a little bit too aggressive.
Surprised there that they tried to post him out?
Well, they want to try to get him going. To your point, A.J. came out, he was on fire, but then things slowed down a little bit because the offense got stagnant.
Washington and English have been much of the offense for Iona. Isaiah Williams has collected 13 points tonight, and Proctor with 2 there.
Great drive by Proctor, but way too easy dribble penetration. If you're Monmouth, you have to make sure you're stepping up on the drive.
So they'll try to work a little clock here. As the Hawks holding on to a 10-point lead, and boy, what would a win do for this group tonight?
We'll talk about confidence. I mean, a huge confidence builder as you move through conference play, as you move through the rest of your season. First of all, they played a great non-conference and had some success in that. And to get this win tonight will just solidify all the things that they've been building up to all season long and over the previous years as well.
4 personals for Ibn Muhammad. The next one will send Monmouth into the double bonus.
For the free throw is going to be big from Monmouth down the stretch, knowing that you're probably going to get fouled, and you're going to have to step up to the free throw line and knock down shots.
85% free throw shooter from the line this season, and Robinson gets both. Good hand on it there from Austin Tillman to force that turnover. Now 19 for the Gales. +7 in that category against their season average, and that's not the stat that Tim Clues is looking to highlight in terms of positive.
Well, Tiffany, you're exactly right. That is not going to get it done if you're the Gales. And if you're Monmouth, you have to make sure you keep the pressure on Iona, making sure that they're not getting into their offensive sets easy, or making sure they're not getting out in transition and getting easy buckets.
English pops in and out for 3. 3 players going for it. And fall into the Iona bench.
Angry Orchard Hard Cider. Explore the orchard.
Several greats hanging from the rafters, and coming out of Iona, New Rochelle, New York, as we get back to play. Josh James at the line, shooting 2.
Boy, Josh James has come up extremely big tonight.
James with 13 points, and Coach Rice said he is backbone of the team, one of the captains. So quite frankly, we'd be lost without him.
He's not a player that, has to step up and score a lot on a night-to-night basis. The little things that he does, the intangibles.
And the scoop lay-in from English.
Too easy if you're Monmouth. You cannot allow a player to get so deep that he could just turn around and lay the ball up almost effortless.
Isaiah Williams, who picked up the last personal foul, has another. He has 4. So as Monmouth's in the double bonus, Williams, Muhammad, and Washington all with 4 personals, very close to their way out. If they don't hold on, well, NC State taking on North Carolina at noon on Saturday. Then Barry Ellis and the top-ranked Kansas Jayhawks hosting TCU in the Allen Fieldhouse. You can catch it on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app.
Well, Jim,
any of these teams going to score? We're talking about 99, almost 100.
Exactly. We were talking about in the opening how it may be the first team to 100 that wins, and right now it seems like Monmouth is on their way. Just a point shy of it. Poor possession if you're Iona. The ball just got stuck in one person's hand way too long. You got to understand that the clock is not on your side, so you need to move bodies, playing without the ball and try to get things going to the basket. It can't all come from your superstar and AJ English.
English will go to the line. 20 win seasons since arriving in New Rochelle back in 2010 for Tim Cluse, including a program record 26 wins last season. Jalon Hornbeek picked up the personal. That's his 5th, so he checks in and right back out. Tough night for Hornbeek, who happens to lead the nation in free throw percentage, and as well as Monmouth is shooting tonight. They may not need him, or they won't use him tonight, but 95% from the charity stripe.
Well, listen, things have not gone exactly according to plan for Iona tonight, but they are still in this ball game. They need to play great defense, limit Mama to one shot and done, and then go back on the other end and attack the basket.
Well, it's been Monmouth who's been attacking the basket. They haven't scored a field goal since 8:21. 8 free throws in that time. Justin Robinson coming up to shoot 2 more.
Well, I'll tell you what, if I'm the Hawks, I'm going to attack the basket every single trip down now because I'm in the double bonus, and Iona's going to have to do one or two things. They're going to have to either foul me or try to play great defense. And so far tonight, they've been doing a poor job of playing defense on the dribble penetration.
The Hawks at 100 points. That's their season high, 101 now. Robinson has 21. Pokes it away from English on the break. Finishes it off.
What a great individual effort by Robinson. And he talked about it this week on Twitter. He talked about how he felt he was one of the best guards in the country, and he's come out tonight and played extremely well.
And he made a no doubt about it. He said, I am the best point guard outside of Chris Dunn at Providence. Says he wasn't being cocky, but instead confident. Who's the contacts? I know what that one is. Got to resuscitate Tyler Robinson. Got to wake him up. And then let's just go ham. Let's just go ham. What Prince say in his song "Let's Go Crazy"?
Well, I'll tell you what. When you're on the road, you need that energy, and they're doing a great job of providing that for the players on the floor.
13-point deficit for Iona.
Tough shot by Robinson. I mean, he has done it all tonight for his team. Ever since that slow start and he was taken out of the game early, he's come back to the game on a tear with vengeance.
Ricky McGill with the baseline move. He's played only a few minutes tonight, but making a contribution off the bench. And if you're Iona, you've got to score and stop. Score and stop. That's your formula.
Exactly. If you're Iona, you want to try to go down and score in a hurry, but you want to make sure you're getting quality shots. You don't want to just go down and start jacking up threes. Still understand that there's enough time to get back in this ball game, but you're going to have to do it off of dribble penetration.
Down by a dozen. You see the full court pressure being applied. Forces Deion Jones and the Hawks to call a timeout.
Great job by Iona. Like I mentioned, you're going to have to try to score the basketball, the offense off of dribble penetration, and maybe kick shots. It opened it up for everyone else, and you know, it's kind of contagious.
You're doing some really big things, says Colin Stewart. We've got a lot on our plate. We've been representing the MAC very well thus far in non-conference. It's carried over as they're 4-1. And if they could notch a win here and hand Iona their first loss in conference play, it would be a huge confidence booster. And again, helping them to build that tournament resume as they're looking to get to the NCAA tournament. Hadn't been back since 2006
Well, you're exactly right. It'd be a huge win for Monmouth. But if you're Iona, you're going to have to play with a little bit more sense of urgency, understanding that you need to get the ball to the basket as often as possible and trying to. And look, the player of the game is Stuart Collins. I mean, he's done a great job tonight, coming off the bench, knocking down 12 big points on 4 or 5 shooters.
Player of the game brought to you by Matt Collins. Stewart off the bench with a dozen points, being hounded in the corner. A.J. English has 39 points tonight. So he's nearing that career high, and they'll need to get the ball to him as quickly as possible and as often as possible as Aaron Roundtree commits the foul, the Wake Forest transfer. But how about A.J. English? Copy that, rather correct that. 41 for the senior.
Well, just great pressure defense. Collins got himself in trouble by catching the ball too close to the sideline and the baseline, and you do not want to do that. You want to make sure you're catching the ball away from that sideline and baseline. And just unfortunately for him, A.J. was able to come up with a big steal and knock down a 3-pointer.
Yeah, but what's been key for Monmouth in this second half and really all game long is the fact that they have been able to hit their free throws. 21 of 25 tonight.
Well, Monmouth has been able to hit free throws. They've been able to step up and knock down open shots. They have played extremely well coming out of the break. And pretty much all game long, they've done a great job of coming in to this hostile environment and executing their game plan.
107 points. That's a season high, but also back during the exhibition in November, the Georgian Court, they scored 107 then. They could go higher and higher as English continuing to boost his numbers. Well, down by 7, Iona.
207 overall goal, and that's to win the basketball game.
His dad, A.J. English II, a terrific basketball player in college, played at Virginia Union. And pushing it up the floor as McGill now has some fouls to give. And Iona's just got to hope that Monmouth can miss these free throws.
Well, you're exactly right. Iona's going to have to foul to try to stop the clock. And Monmouth's just going to have to step up and knock down free throws. And if they can step up and knock down free throws, then they'll walk away with this game.
Now, both teams came into tonight on winning streaks. As Monmouth 6-0 in the conference, that is on the line. As Monmouth can move to 5-1, and they'd both be tied for first place. Or rather, Iona would still take the cake, but Monmouth would have second place all alone. So A.J. English, no fight, no quit in him. Rather, no quit and a lot of fight in him.
Well, I'll tell you what, this game is not over. He has 45 points. I mean, he would, as I mentioned before, he would rather have the win versus the individual accolades, but he's done a great job. Individually, he's tried to do everything he could possibly to help his team come out with a victory.
And don't forget, you know, the Gales have done an excellent job taking care of home court at the Heinz Center. They feel right at home. And a 26-game win streak is on the line. 6th best in the nation.
And they're up there with some good company. I mean, some very impressive teams. And Iona's on that list. And it's in jeopardy tonight.
Well, English, you know he's going to call his own number. He's stripped. Justin Robinson coming up with the ball. And he's been able to weave his way all around defenders. Finally, a foul called on the floor.
And Justin just showed us a little bit of his nifty ball handling ability. Great defense in transition by Monmouth, just getting back and able to get a hand on the ball.
5'7" stature, you think about Some of the NBA players who are able to be nifty and weave their way through the league. Spud Webb, Greg Grant, Muggsy Bogues. Robinson aspiring to make it to the top level. And he's put on a good show tonight.
Well, he sure has. He's tied his season high, and he has an opportunity to... There's a new season high, 29 points.
That's right. So English and the Gales will walk away with their first loss in conference play this season as Monmouth goes on the road and wins 110-102, snapping a 26 home game win streak for